Welcome, sports fans, to another weekly edition of our Pioneer Sports Preview. Here with Mr. Bob Allen, and with National Signing Day on Wednesday, we're going to talk a little bit about the 2014 recruiting class the Bulldogs hauled in. So, just looking at the class they've got there, a lot of athletes, a lot of big kids on the offensive line. Got some members in the secondary, but they also got some playmakers on offense. So, I guess first off, just looking at the overall class as a whole. What are your thoughts on the class there Anise brought in?
If the one thing that you notice what Coach Anise does is, he gets quality athletes.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting quality athletes from winning programs in high school. So they got that in them, that how to win. And I think that's, you look at last year's group that was very heavy with playoff teams, high school playoff teams. This year's the same way, and he's got that. He's got his set what he's looking for. He's looking for not offensive lineman or a tight end or whatever. He's looking for offensive linemen who are on winning teams. And I think he's thinking, and probably rightfully so, in a couple of years when they get to mature, he's going to be just set because he's going to have guys that are winning. He's building a winner. He was 8-3, I believe, this last year.
Yeah,
and he's got that winning attitude, and I think that's going to pay off in a couple of years.
Definitely, like you said, got some guys from programs like Cass Tech. He really hit the Detroit area hard. Of course, his prior stomping grounds there in Montague and Muskegon. He got some good players there. So, Coach Anise is building up some talent. And specifically looking at the class, I know a lot of players he's excited about, but specifically Robert Thomas III was the one recruit. He explained it as being giddy, is the way he said he felt after finding out that he was going to sign with the Bulldogs. But yeah, running back comes in, the Florida 8A Player of the Year in the whole state, led the whole state in rushing. And for a state like Florida, where you've got kids, continuously going to the SEC and all these power conferences, just what kind of a grab is that for the Bulldogs to get a player of his caliber?
It is a huge grab for them. The question is, how did he get them? How do you hear about a guy in Florida? I mean, because Ferris State doesn't have the resources of a Alabama, a Michigan, a Notre Dame, something like that. So I know Ferris has had some success in Florida in past years. One guy that comes to my mind is Clarence Coleman.
Yep.
Maybe he's down there and, hey, put a bug in the ear. You don't know how that works. But, that's a huge haul. And probably someone that can play right away. Yep. And, with Vanderline coming back, that's a dangerous duo back there. That's going to make them more potent than they were, the last couple of years.
Yeah, specifically talking about the quarterback Vanderlaan there. The only quarterback the Bulldogs pulled in this class was the dual threat quarterback Jalen Brooks from Cadillac. Obviously, coming into the situation here where Vanderlaan's the man and he's going to be there, coming back for his junior season here. But just how much of a luxury is it for the Bulldogs to have an athlete like Jalen Brooks that can pretty much just come in redshirt next year and they can build him up to the point where once Vanderlaan's gone, he'll step pretty much right in.
I got a chance to see him a year ago in basketball. He plays on the Cadillac basketball team. They played Big Rapids in the quarters last year, and it came out of a timeout. And they threw like an alley-oop, and he went right down the middle and just went up and just threw it down. It was one of the more impressive dunks I've seen. And he's not a very tall kid, but he was, I'm not kidding, he was like a foot above the rim. This kid's got some serious athletic skill that in a year or two, after he redshirts and learns the system, he's going to be a very nice player.
Definitely, like you said, I got to catch him when Cadillac hosted Chippewa Hills here for the first round of the playoffs this season. Definitely an athletic kid who, like you said, doesn't really look, not the tallest, biggest kid, but he'll come out there and he can really run the ball. Yes. So I think he'll definitely continue in that line of dual threat quarterbacks that Anise has been able to get here in the program.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, let's take a few minutes here to check out the beginning of Coach Anise's press conference yesterday at Wheeler Pavilion to introduce the 2014 recruiting class.
First off, just extremely elated to get this day, for this day to come. We're so excited about the class that we've signed, and I just have a few thank yous. First off, my coaching staff has just been, since we played that last game and failed to make the playoffs narrowly, we went to work, and I just can't thank the staff enough for doing the things they did on the road. I don't think anyone in Division II outworked us, and you're going to see our class and figure out why it's so good. Our coaches did a great job. Secondly, when we bring people on campus, recruits on campus for official visits, our players do an incredible job it's just the way they feel about the program, and I'm so happy that our players are so comfortable with being here. Our freshmen feel great about it, and so ultimately, I think our morale here at Ferris State is higher than I've seen really in a long time with any of the teams I've coached over the course of time. So our morale is so high. I think when recruits get here, they feel like, man, I want to be a part of that family, and that's awesome. And the third thank you I have is the high school coaches, my staff, and myself. We feel like we're very close to the high school coaches in this state, and I think sometimes they work very hard to help us get the quality of recruit we're looking for. And so, that's helped a lot over the course of time. When I took the job, I was hoping it would help because of its being a high school coach for that long. It was very important to have that kind of relationship. Ultimately, we're about relationships. When we recruit, we sell the relationships we're going to have with the young people that we're recruiting and the relationships they'll have with their teammates. And so we're one big family, and it's a great day to be a Bulldog. Our class is a great class. We have 4 guys that had Division I offers, and we ended up getting, and we also have 2 Division I transfers, which will.
All right, now Mr. Brandon Fountain joins me. Usually we take this time to either complain about the Red Winds or kind of give them a little bit of credit, but now with the Olympics coming up here, starting this weekend, let's take a look at the field for the Olympic hockey tournament. So, looking at this year, obviously, let's start with the good old US of A. What are your thoughts on the chances America has here as we enter the tournament?
I think going into the tournament, the U.S. stands a pretty good chance to come out with at least a medal. You got the powerhouses of Russia and Canada, and those are throughout the entire Olympic break. It's going to be those 2 teams who are going to steal the headlines. But I think the U.S. has a chance to play the underdog once again. You also have Sweden in the background, and Sweden, I think, is going to be my black horse. If I had the money to bet, I would bet on Sweden. Yeah,
definitely. What do you think of Nyquist getting on Team Sweden there to replace Franzen?
I think it's a smart move. His talent is limitless right now. He's young, he's brash, he's got the moves. Just it's sad because now you see where all of our Olympians are going to be going. The prospect of injuries is going to be even higher, and it's not like the Wings have.
I just say for a team that's been decimated pretty much this entire year.
That's my only worry.
Definitely, yeah, like you said, that is a worry, but. The Winds certainly do have a great number of players over there. And speaking of that, looking at Team Russia, like you said, Pavel Datsyuk supposed to be back in the lineup here for the Winds. What are you just looking at him? How much of a difference do you think it makes for Team Russia having him out there as opposed to not having him on the ice?
I think it means a lot. Though if he wasn't there, it's not like they wouldn't be able to have someone. I mean, they have Ovechkin and Malkin.
Right.
Those 2 are probably the 2 best overall players in the league, in my opinion. Crosby's right there with his offensive skills. But as for Canada, too, they got Chris Kunitz, former Ferris State Bulldog. You can't go wrong with someone who's out there and produces. And that's what he does. In any role, he goes out and produces, whether it's grinding or whether it's having a pass over to Sidney Crosby for a goal. So.
Right. Definitely, yeah, like you said, he's not afraid to get in there and do the dirty work that's not going to show up in the highlights. Not if there's going to be any highlights anyways, because ESPN never shows hockey, but that's a whole nother story. Alrighty, folks, thanks for joining us this week for another edition of our weekly sports preview. Remember, you can always log on to BigRapidsNews.com or pick up an edition of the Pioneer every day to see the local sports news and also what's going on in the state.